strokes. My mic was muted there. Turn up the volume and buckle in. We are live in Montreal for the Canadian Grand Prix. This isn't just another race. This is a high-speed street fight in an island that has no mercy. We're talking 300 kilometers per hour, millimeters from the concrete, and a grid that's absolutely desperate for the win. 35 laps, 14 corners, one legendary final chicane. Welcome to the 2025 Canadian Grand Prix. It's the final year of this generation of ground effect monsters, as they are even faster and more temperamental than we've ever seen them. Can Trompie hold off Buckle, or will the Montreal Wolves claim another victim? The engines are fired up and the fans are ready. Let's get to the action. Tag fighting. With a monster of a lap, 109.84, 5 tenths clear of the whole field, followed by Sensafold, 5.26 tenths behind fighting. Then Jonko in the ass with 0.809 seconds behind fighting. And then Mauri with only 6 points on the board so far. P4 will be an absolute gift for him. Adrenaline through the roof. And that will be it. That will be it. Mauri in P4, Jonko in P3, Sensafold in P2, and Tag fighting in the ass, securing his pole position, not going any longer, retired from the session halfway through with a 109.840. That's it, guys. Our top 17 drivers for Q8, and the race starts as the session concludes. I think that's why everybody retired. There was a few raindrops that we didn't see from the commentary box, and the drivers felt it and saw it, and that's why they started retiring. That's why nobody could get close to tag fighting, because there was a few seconds, not in the start of the session, but in the middle of the session, where the track was still dry, but Track Evolution played a massive role in the pole position for tag fighting, for Sensafold, for Jonko, for Mauri, and for Trompie. Trompie leading our championship in P5. Let's see what we get. And we have some rain in Canada. Air is going to be thin. Grip is going to be low. Turn 1 is going to be Survivor. Oh, we're going to have a Q2. We're going to have a Q2. I thought that we're only going to have Q1. So let's see. We lost 2 drivers. We lost 2 drivers in Q1. We're going to lose another 5 drivers in Q2. And then we're going to go on to our final session of Q3 for the Canadian Grand Prix. Who's going to be brave enough to set the limit, to set the pace in Q2, in the rain, Inter's going onto the cars. Not a lot of standing water out there. So it won't be that difficult, but it won't be as easy on the slicks. Braking points is going to be much different, much further than Q1. A lot of oversteer going on there for Ghost Dragon. Again, he's out first out of the pits. Wants to put in the practice, wants to put in the laps, get himself comfortable behind the monocoque, and get that Q3 in the pocket. Let's get ourselves some HUD and some telemetry so we can fully engulf ourselves in this qualifying session. 4.361 kilometers of tarmac for the Canadian Grand Prix. 35 laps for this race. 3 DRS zones, 14 corners, 5.2 meters of elevation. Who's it gonna be? Out of the final corner, turn 14. No DRS for him at the moment. Let's make sure. No DRS. On his way to turn 1. The only or the first non-chicane turn off this track. Turn 2. Feather the throttle. Foot to the floor. Don't be selfish with the throttle. You're going to spin out and end your qualifying session just here. Cuts the corner there a bit. Oh, and he scrubs the wall there with the right rear. The second chicane, the first chicane of the track. Second, 6, turn 7, sector 1, done. On his way to turn 8, then turn 9. Bit of oversteer for him there. This car looks like a handful to get over those curbs. Sausage curb's not going to be your friend on this track. Not in these conditions. Not in this damp tarmac. Goes a bit wide at the hairpin. On his way to the left-hand kink. Turn 11. Point de la Concorde. Final sector. Let's see what he gets. We got a 109 in Q1. And that was dry conditions. Let's see what we get in Q2 in wet conditions. Wall of Champions, where we go. A lot of understeer for Ghost Dragon. Last corner, turn 14. Wall of Champions, already passed him. 121.85, the pace so far. The pace has been set. A whole 12 seconds added to the laps just because of a few drops on the track. Lot of nippiness from Ghost Dragon there. Sensible, that was our previous fastest driver for Q1 with a 122.227. 3 tenths separating P1 and P2. Then another whole second for Hennas. And Happy Teddy Bear. And the other Williams. Ghost Dragon's teammate. 6 tenths behind him. And look at the lap. Look at the lap. That was quite a solid lap for Ghost Dragon. Yellow flags in sector 1. Why? Haas going slow there, cutting the corner a bit here for Happy Bear. Just giving way to guys on flyers. Mauri, 2.5 seconds behind pace. Spolzes, almost 4 seconds behind pace. Ghost Dragon, I think he's quite pleased with himself. 121. And not any answers for the rest of the field so far. We have to see when Trompy goes over, the championship leader with 251 points. Then it's gonna be, I think it's, I can't remember, it was P2. I don't think it's driving always out in Q1. Let's have a look at the data. Andres Buckle is not with us tonight. Tag Fighting is with us. Quite a strong performance here in Q1 in the Haas. Haas not a season favorite, but they're up there. They're fighting in P3 for the driver, P3 for the constructors. Don't want to do one lap. Oh, and we have a front wing on the racing line there. Into the wall we go with Mauri. Just helping his fellow drivers with the front wing there, pushing it out of the way and then getting out of the way. Quite a nice oak. The two Red Bull drivers. Trompy, championship leader, on his way to put his first flyer on screen, and let's see what he gets. Bit of oversteer into turn 13 we go. Get as close to the concrete as you can. The Wall of Champions. Only managed to get to P5 with a 0.853. I think the rain is getting worse. That's why we don't see any improvements on lap times now. Ghost Dragon, if the condition stays like this, He's going to secure himself with a Q3 appearance. Trumpy with a limited edition 2025 Japanese Grand Prix Red Bull livery. His teammate Mick 007. As the default, the legendary RB23 livery. One of the most dominant cars in F1 history. Drivers will have the C4 white wall tyre at their disposal, the C4, the C5, the C6. Medium will be C5, the yellow walled tyre, and C6 will be your soft, the red walled tyre. Optimal race strats for a dry race will be a two-stopper. If you're going to be involved in some action and battle on track, it's going to be a medium, hard, medium. Or if you're opting for the longer stints, it's going to be a one-stopper, a medium followed by hard. Pit winners is going to be respective of the strats. For one stop is going to be lap 12 to 15, and then for the two stop is going to be lap 10 to 24, or lap 10 for your first stint, and then your last stint is going to be lap 24. Safety car chance, I think, is going to be high. Historically, the safety car chance is going to be 83%, and for the VSC is going to be 58.5. Average throttle time for a driver is going to be 73%. Full throttle, 100,000 horsepower displaced and deployed through the track. Lap record was beaten in the previous session. It was held by Valtteri Bottas, a 1:13.078 in 2019. Our first Grand Prix for the Canadian Grand Prix was in 1978 on the 8th of October. A track built, or an island purposely built for this track. Only 5.2 meters of elevation, almost perfectly flat, 14 corners, 3 DRS zones, 35 laps, and 4.3 kilometers of race pace. 10-12 is going to be our fastest at 300 kilometers per hour. 10-10 is going to be our slowest at 60 kilometers per hour. Top speed is going to be around about 350 kph in a dry session. Pit stop time lost is going to be 22 seconds under normal conditions and 15 seconds under virtual safety car or safety car conditions. No answer as of yet for Ghost Dragon in the Williams. 1:21.845 as it stands. The lap time to beat. 5 minutes left for Q2. Who's it going to be? Who's going to be the 5 drivers that's going to get dropped? Mauri with a 2.6 deficit, race of qualifying deficit to the pole position at the moment. Sitting currently in P4. Mick 007 in P15. Not a time on the board yet, so we'll have to see what we get now. Still a lot of battery left for him. Sensifault dethrones Ghost Dragon by what he needed. 0.3 of a second. 6 lap old inters. Looks like the track is drying up a bit. Will we see some wonder laps in the last part of Q2? Henas bring himself in P2 with a 0.269 deficit of pole position as it stands. We have some yellow flags in sector 3 for Mick. He's run out of fuel and is in trouble. Sitting in P14, about to get kicked out. He needs to get a good enough lap time on the board to secure himself with his teammate in Q3. His teammate goes past. Trompy, our championship leader with 251 points, followed by Buck. It's not with us tonight. Trompy, our championship leader, putting himself up there with a 124.488. Track is drying up. The track is drying up. 2 minutes left. Track Evolution is going to be one of your best friends as of this moment in Q2. It's going to determine Q3 or a heartbreak. It's going to determine points or no points. Do you want to be in front on the race start? Turn 1 is going to be absolute chaos. It's going to be absolute strategy defining. You want to put yourself up there and you want to put yourself out of danger. 0.008 of a second between Sensifield and Trompy. No margin left. No pace left. And what will we get? Another flyer from Trompy. And off we go. On to turn 1 we're heading. DRS open. Not as of yet. The race director haven't activated DRS yet. Turn 2. Want to further onto the throttle. Short shift onto turn gear 3. Then turn 4. 5 flat out. Then turn gear 6. Turn 3. Turn 4. Cut it a bit. Get close as possible to the wall. Scraping it a bit. Might be taking it too far. Onto the second chicane of the track. Ending sector 1. Turn 6. Then turn 7. Further the throttle, short shift until gear 5, full revs now, deploy the 1000 horsepower, up the gears, hook gear 8, onto the brakes, throw the car into the right hander, then the left hander, the last chicane of the second last chicane of the track, turn 9, ending sector 2, into the hairpin, Point de la Concorde is the correct name there. Further the throttle, you don't want to make a mistake here, a long straight for you to lose delta and pace here. Deploys the battery, 50%, 45% left on that start of the straight there. Turn 13, on his way, then turn 14, the infamous Wall of Champions. Get as close as possible as to the concrete. Deploy the last battery half. Over the line he goes with a 118.582. Well, if that's not smoking the rest of the grid, I don't know what is. 2 seconds clear of the rest of the field. No answer from the rest of them. No answer whatsoever. Jonko in the Haas with 9/10, almost a second slower than Trompy. Trompy is leaving nothing, no margin, no errors made there. Leaving nothing on the field. Absolutely bonkers. This will be a race-defying start if you're in the middle of the grid. Keep your car safe, keep your line, don't get into any trouble, and see through that you get through your first stint unscathed and undamaged. So the drivers that will be losing so far is going to be Henas, damaged, and Death Trap, demoted to P12. Ghost Dragon, that had an optimal, a nice lap in the beginning, also being thrown, sitting in qualifying in P11. Tag fighting, over the line he goes, and he promotes himself with a 117.267, 1.3 seconds faster than the championship leader of Trompy. So our 5 drivers that we're going to lose for Q3 is going to be Tech Moldy, Ghost Dragon, Death Trap, Henas, and the McLaren driver of Damage 89. Mauri putting himself in P5, only 6 points as of yet. It's gonna be a hell of a night if you can finish in P5. A whole lot points, a whole lot of points for the Alpine driver. If you're hearing a click, that's my mic I'm putting off. I'm just taking a few sips of water. And there we have it, guys. 8 seconds slower because of the rain than Q1. And tag fighting taking a massive advantage over the Bull, over the Trompie. Will that be an ego boost? Will that be a mental battle from now on? We'll have to see. It isn't over yet. Q3 starts now. We had dragon fighting, or that was out first, and he was out in Q1 and Q2. The first driver that went out was Dragon Fight, or Dragon. Who's gonna be now? Who's gonna be the bravest one? Who's gonna set the bar? It looks like it's gonna be a Mercedes driver. It is Tag Jackets. Then the Ferrari driver of Senserfold. Also a Williams driver. Happy Teddy Bear. Let's head down to Tag Jackets. On his outlap, first driver. He's the one that has to go and look where the grip is, look where the braking points is. Let's get ourselves some info here. We've got a driver out on a hard. I don't know if that's maybe a glitch. It doesn't look like, no. That's hards. I don't think anybody will go out for the hard. The hard is going to be the most durable, the most loving tire for a racing driver. It's not as fast, but it's gonna be the most durable, the tire that lasts the longest, and it's gonna be optimal, the most optimal for a one-stopper. One-stopper is gonna be your fastest strat. If you manage not to get to any scruffy or scuffy or any fighting conditions, if you're gonna be a lone wolf and race your own race, one-stopper will be optimal. You're gonna get a lot of time gained. You lose 22 seconds in the pits and 15 seconds under any safety car or virtual safety car conditions. Two-stopper will be a more aggressive approach with medium or medium hard. Over the line we go with our first driver of the Mercedes, Paul Zus, on a hard tire. Not going to be as optimal. The second driver, I think, was Happy Teddy Bear. Teddy is on a flyer as the second driver on the flyer. And the end of Sector 2 we go. Starting Sector 3 with a purple Sector 2. Faster than Paul Zus. That's not a surprise. He is on softs. That's the difference between a soft and a medium. Let's have a look what the pace difference is. Into the final corners we go. The final chicane. One of the most infamous in Formula 1, the Wall of Champions, claiming drivers such as Michael Schumacher, Ayrton Senna, Teddy Bear with a 111.617. Paul Zus over the line. Then 14 we go. Closest possible to the concrete. What? The 111.484 for a hard tire. Apiteri must have made a mistake there on the final few laps or final few corners to be behind a hard tyre. Hard tyre will not be fired up, it will not be hot, it will not be in optimal working condition. The soft only 1 or 2 laps and you're on it. You have the rubber behind you, you have the rubber underneath you, and you have the pace in front of you. All you have to do is go and get it. Let's head down to Jonco. Deploys 1000 horsepower underneath him. 300 brake horsepower underneath him. Turn 13, then turn 14. Get your wheels as close as possible to the concrete there. Not inside the concrete. Trompy with a 110.319. What will Sensible do? Not enough, it looks like. Three and a half tenths separating the top two. Then Ragnarok with 7.5 tenths. Not far behind him is going to be Mauri in P4 as it stands with 8.4 tenths. Then Pulses with a 1.164. I'm still amazed that he continued on with the lap on the hards, not going into the pits. And maybe he's saving, maybe he doesn't have another soft left. Maybe he only has one spare and he wants to use that on the optimal window, optimal time when track evolution is at its best. At the end of the session, at the end of Q3, when there's about 2.5-3 minutes left. Sensible on a old scrub set of softs, 2 laps on that tyre. Tag fighting the other ass driver. 2 laps old softs. No lap set up as of yet. Goes into the pits. Fuel indicator flashing. Jonco on an out lap. Brand new softs for him. The other Red Bull driver with a normal RB23 livery, currently sitting in P8 with 1.5 seconds separating him and his teammate. Will Trompy be dethroned tonight? Will Trompy still have the pace in Canada? Will Trompy still have the championship lead after tonight? Well, I can tell you one thing. Sit back, enjoy, and let's find out. Everybody out except for Tag Jackets in the Mercedes. Also going in now, as his fuel indicator is flashing. Trying to deploy some battery there, but no power left, no fuel left, and he goes in. Jonco on his first flyer for this afternoon in Q3. What will it be? 20.262 for Sector 1. On to Sector 2 we go. Opening the DRS in. There we go. Deploys the DRS. Foot to the floor. Up the gears. Flicks the car into turn 8, then turn 9, get as close as possible to the concrete, onto the curb there. Then Sector 2 will be 42.869. We'll have a look now at the next drivers going around. Feather the throttle there, don't be selfish, you're going to mess up the whole straight down to turn 13. Opens the DRS. 345 kph, do we have it? No, we have 343. Wall of Champions on your right there. Deploys the last few battery has left. Opens the DRS. Over the line we go, and we have a... Oh, he invalidated the lap somewhere. So no time as of yet for Jonco. Struggling tonight. This track is basically made of only chicanes. Only chicanes. We have 2 turns here. That's not chicanes. That will be turn 1 and 2, and then our hairpin, the infamous hairpin, turn 10, and then the small kink of turn 11. Fuel light indicator flashing for Jonco with no time on the board as of yet. He still managed to get himself into Q3. Going to the pits. put on a new set of tires, come out. There's still enough time left. We are not faster than the Q1 time. The Q1 times was 109 point something. It's still better than the real time record that was set by Valtteri Bottas in 2019. And we have another driver there that we just went past. The teammate of Tech Fight of Jonko in the other house, on his way, making his way to turn 13, the last and final chicane, Wall of Champions. Here we go. What will it be? On the absolute limit there, no margin for error there. And a pole position as it stands now. Provisional pole for the Haas driver. A Haas sandwich for the top 10. 110.285. 3/4 thousandths of a second. Separating the championship leader and the Haas driver leader. Provisional pole for Haas at the moment. They'll be stoked. Leading the midfield in P3 in the Constructors' Championship. Will there be an answer for fighting? I think there will be. I think Trompy still has something to say about this. Trompy not out of this as of yet. Will he do a fly-there on the last few seconds? Let's see where he's on track. In sector 2 at the moment. Going to turn 8, then turn 9. So there will be no laps left. This will make it. This will break it. A heart will be won. And a race will be set. Set back. Let's see. Prepping the tires, prepping the brakes. Will it be a 109? Will it be a 110? Will it be a 111? A 109 will secure the pole position for him here. Senserfold also, one driver still in contention. Don't forget about the Ferrari driver of Senserfold. Still in contention, still in this thing, still wants the pole position. On off we go, into turn 1 we go. Turn 2, a small hairpin. Further the throttle, don't be selfish, up the gears, deploys the ERS, onto the brakes, only a dab, but onto the brakes, cuts the corner there a bit with the inside wheels, onto the outside curb, closes it to the concrete as possible. Further the throttle here into turn 7. Don't close to the wall, that was close, that was very close to the wall there. Turn 9, over in the DRS detection zone. That will not be working now. Everybody will get DRS. Only in race that will determine if you get an overtaking opportunity into the final chicane, turn 13 and 14. The longest straight of this track. Here we go. Foot to the floor, up the gears, deploys the 1000 horsepower underneath him, empties the battery, onto the final straight, onto the final corners we go. Wall of Champions up next. No contact as of yet with the Wall of Champions. 109.950, 7 thousandths of a second. No margin left. What will Senserfold do? He needs to improve more than 7 tenths of a second to secure himself onto the front row and get himself. Did I see Tech fighting then to turn 3 in the wall? I think he went into the wall there. Senserfold only managed to improve with 6 tenths of a second. 1 tenth away from pole position. Onto the second row he is. Mauri in P4. Finishing off our second row. Then Ragnarok. Followed by Happy Teddy Bear. Then Tech Jackets. Paul Zeus and P9 will be Mick, Trompy's teammate, and then Jonko with no lap time to be displayed. 7 thousandths of a second. What a qualifying session that we have, guys. Pole position snatched out of Trompy's hands by 7 thousandths of a second. 7 thousandths of a second. Faster than I blink. No margin left. No remorse. Millimeters. That's where the hesitation of should I go into the throttle now or should I go into the throttle now comes in. Should I go into the brakes now or should I go onto the brakes now? That's what sets championship drivers and midfield drivers. And we have a wet race for the Canadian Grand Prix. A full wet race as it looks by the downpour of water we have. Looks like there's a few puddles there in the right hand side if you look there just before Trompie and the Haas driver. Will it be Intis? Will it be full wets? We'll have to see. Formation lap coming up now. Drivers setting the strats and setting the fuel, and I'll be with you in a couple of seconds. And off we go with the formation lap starting. Trompy had a 5 place grid penalty. It was Trompy. There was 2 drivers. I'm not sure, but Trompy was one of them. He got pulled by 7 thousandths, 8 thousandths of a second. Drivers want to heat up these inters as quickly, as fast as possible. Don't want to set your diff to 100, as it will cause both your rear tires to lock, spin you around, and race the other way around. If you manage to steer clear of the concrete. Final part of formation lap happening now. Let's get ourselves some lap data. Position change, tires, penalties. No, we want none of those as of yet. We've got some wet strats and we've got some interstrats. Race day in Canada, round 13, 35 laps, 305 kilometers. One of the most unpredictable thrilling races of the calendar. We are here at the Gilles Villeneuve circuit and the tensions in the paddock is immense. We've got fighting starting on pole, but with 3 DRS zones, overtaking is going to be relentless. Turn 1 is going to be absolutely chaos, and we will see someone scrape the World of Champions before this is over. Keep your eyes on the tire strategies, stay tuned for the safety cars, and let's get the Canadian Grand Prix to start. The grid is held at 11,000 RPM, a symphony of pneumatic valve springs, and waiting for the drop. Three, 4, 5 red lights. And the lights are out and away we go in Canada. What will we have? A good start for Sensible into P1 for turn 1. No contact as of yet. Bit of slow driving going on there at the back. And we have some collisions. We have a big pile up of 4 cars. Can't tell you who is it now, but it's all wet drivers. All wet tire strat drivers. Peter, Henas, Reiger, Deathtrap made contact. Let's head down to P1 and see what's going on with the Haas and the Ferrari driver. A lot of position changes going down the field. Oh, and we've got more impact. More carnage. Engines are at full throttle. The grip is low and the tension is thick. Let's see who survives the World of Champions on lap 1. Keeler Dawn making a move there. Jack Jacobs losing 2 positions on the start of the final sector here. Into the hairpin we go. More contact for Ghost Dragon and Spinnekop. Spinnekop up almost 7 positions. Sensible still managing to hold the lead there on lap 1, followed by Fighting, then Trompy made up 2 positions on lap 1. Ragnarok not doing so bad himself, the only driver in the top 5 with the wet tires. Who will benefit? Will it be like 2024 for the Canadian Grand Prix? Guys on the wets gaining massive amounts of track positions. Henas making a move there on Mick, the other Red Bull driver that lost out a whole lot of positions. Ghost Dragon up on Killer Dawn fighting back, not giving any margin, not giving any positions back. More contact as we go down to turn 7. Drivers struggling out here in these conditions. Can't see anything ahead of them. Braking positions changing as we go on, going deeper. fighting, and Sensifold only separated by less than a second, followed by Trompy. That's quite far. What do we have? We're going to have overtake. 60% of battery will left. Is he going to go for the inside, or is he going to wait for turn 1? Into the final chicane we go. Turn 13, then turn 14. Get yourself onto the optimal line here, as close as possible to the concrete. He deploys the battery. What will he do? Does he have lower wings? No, he doesn't. Will he go for the dive? No, he doesn't. Sensifold goes wide into turn 1, then turn 2, feather the throttle, up the gears, deploys the 1000 horsepower underneath him, get the grip, go offline, into turn 3, turn 4, the slight kink of turn 5, 2/10 of a second separating the top 2. Bit of oversteer there for Sensifold. Oh, and not so good for the fighting also. Eager to get onto the throttle, eager to deploy the ERS. Not too quickly, bud. Not too quickly. Wait for the mistake. Onto the final sector on approach. The hairpin on his way. 9/10 of a second. Growing. Getting more. Going a bit wide into the hairpin of turn 10, then turn 11. Trompy on the outside of the Haas driver. What will it be? Side by side into turn 12, then turn 13. He goes past, gets into P2, but who will come out top? Into turn 14, then turn... And he goes wide. He goes for the switchback. On the outside he goes onto the wall of champions. Who's going to go? Who's going to win this? Who's going to go first into turn 1? Fighting later on to the brakes, a bit wide into turn 2 we go. Trompy trying to go for the switchback onto the inside. Fighting, closing it off, saying no, this is my position. Bit of oversteer, clabbering the wall there on the outside of turn 3. Turn 5, then turn 6, the first chicane of the track. No DRS for the drivers as of yet. Still a downpour of rain here. Will we go through this race with wet conditions? We have to wait and see. All the drivers not separated by a lot, and we have a yellow flag in sector 1. Why? Peter changing his front wing. Quite a lot of fighting going down in the fight, but I think the race and the action is going to be up front. Only damaged close to his teammate in P12. Attack Moldy. Happy Teddy Bear on the attack onto the second Haas driver, Jonko. Trompy not far away, 6/10 separating the top 3. Not in a attacking position at the moment. Fighting, setting the fastest lap on lap 5. Grip is very low for the drivers. Going wide each and every go around into turn 1. A lot of overspeed there. A lot of oversteer here for Trompy. He's going to lose out a bit. Oh, and he doesn't. He gains half a second in two corners. Spinnekop and damaged. Side by side into turn 3. Turn 5 on his way. Then turn 6, Peter with a 3-second penalty. Corner cutting is not going to be your friend on Canada, especially in the wets. Feather the throttle, don't want to be too selfish. Deploys the ERS after gear 6. Attack Moldy, going for the overtake into the inside he goes. P2 for the moment. What will it be? Who's got more battery left? Attack Moldy or Trompy? Trompy has bit more straight line speed than Tag Fighting. He's running a bit more aggressively. Oh, and he rear-ends him into turn 13, turn 14, Wall of Champions on the outside here. Concrete, not going to be a friend here. Deploys the ERS as we go for gear number 5. Into turn 1 we go. He's going to go for the lunge. No, he doesn't, but he doesn't give him space there. turn 2, go to the inside line, short shift a bit, fighting, gets the inside of the track there, goes a bit late onto the track, pushes Trompy to the outside, and again, lap 6, still fighting, holds P2. Hena's not far away from Spinnekop here. Was there a problem? Was there contact made between the two teammates? Tag Moldy. 2 tenths behind Pieter van Niekerk. Retiring into the pits. I think he has some damage. Killer Dawn with a 3-second penalty. Track limits is not going to be your friend. Doesn't go for the lunge, goes a bit wide and then setting up the apex a bit late, bit more straight line speed for you down this back straight. Killer Dawn onto the grass there on the outside, nobody fighting him except for himself. Everyone should be starting to settle down now as the race progresses. A bit more less aggressiveness from the drivers. Killer Dawn into the pits. Or is it Mauri? No, who's in the pits? Yeah. A few drivers. Mauri. I think it's a wet race. I don't think it's a intermediate race as the looks of it. Killer, happy teddy bear. On the gearbox of Jonko. Ragnarok, the RB driver, the sister team of Red Bull, managing himself quite well in P4 with the only wet Strat driver in the top 5. Will Teddy Bear go for the lunge here into the hairpin, or will he wait for the straight, the back straight, the longest straight of this track? Rain is going to be the defining factor for the championship standings of Formula 8. Happy Teddy Bear gaining a bit, but not a whole lot. A bit more downforce for him, so he'll be a bit faster out of the corners, but a bit more slower on the straights. No margin left there. No margin left there on the Wall of Champions. Ragnarok opting to go into the pits, going on to the inters. So it will be interesting to see how long the inters last and how long the wets last. There's quite a few drivers still out, 4 that's on the wets. Mick also goes into the pits. No, it's Death Trap that went into the pits. Another wet Strat guy. Spinnekop also being slapped with a 3-second penalty. He will not, none of these drivers that has a 3-second penalty will be able to serve the 3-second penalty inside the pits. It will only be able to serve after the race has been concluded and will be added to your race time. So if you have a opponent or a fellow driver within a time frame of 3 seconds behind you, you will lose that position. Tack Jackets standing still on track. Why? Is the Mercedes driver of Tag Moldy, and who else? There was 2 drivers involved there. A bit of front wing lost it, only the right front end plate won't be that much of trouble, but it is rain, so we'll have to see how he manages. Normally a bit of wing damage, front wing damage, will lead to more, as of there will be a bit more oversteer into the entries of turns. And we have around Trompy goes, losing, and he resets to track. Bit more selfish onto the throttle there out of turn 2, and that's what you get. You will be spun around. You will most likely get yourself into a concrete barrier. Turn 7. Dirty air for him now. He has a bit more pace in that Red Bull compared to the guys in front of him. Let's see what happens. Will he gain that back, or will he still... No front wing for the Red Bull driver of Tag Drompie. Not a whole lot separating these two. 78%, 80% battery left for Tag Moldy. Terebe only with 50%. Will there be an overtake coming up into turn 13? I think not. Nor a lot of grip on those wets out of the corners. Centerfold, new falls a slap with a 125.962. Tag fighting, not leaving him any space, not any space for breathing. On his gearbox, on his diffuser, reading the fine print of that barcode. Both of them eating the outside concrete wall of turn 4. Ghost Dragon also hit with a 3-second penalty. Track limits. Oh, and he goes a bit wide for fighting. He saw an opportunity there and got a bit selfish onto the throttle and had a bit of a small moment there. Not losing a whole lot. Let's see, will he go for the lunge here into turn 10? The hairpin is a bit far for that now. And the rain seems to be easing up a bit. Yo, Sensible was slow out of that corner. Fighting almost ran into the back of him. Trompie getting the overtakes done again. But back Molly on the hards or onto the wets. Not having that acceleration, not having that grip out of the last weapon. Deploys the battery, hoping to get something bad out of that. Will we see a driver lost there in the Wall of Champions? I think we will. Tag Jacobs, DNF into turn 3. Let's see what happened. Let's see where the car is stationary. I don't see anything there. No safety cars, no VSCs, no advantage. As you were, guys, as you were. And Sensible managed to break the slipstream for fighting for the moment in time. I think there was a bit of a moment for fighting there. That's why he's 1.5 seconds away from Trompie now. Reiger also hit with a 3-second penalty. So we have 4 drivers as of now that has a 3-second penalty hanging over them. Reiger in P17, the teammate of Mauri. Mauri currently in P15 went for the bold move on starting on the wets, putting himself in P15. Polzes, the Mercedes driver, also slapped with a 3-second penalty. Tag fighting, trying to scratch his way back into the 1-second gap of Centerfold. And another incident we have. It is an Aston Martin driver going slow on track. He went into the pits. Didn't see the pit next to his name. My fault. Polzus not far behind. Ghost Dragon also hit with a 3-second penalty. Let's have a look. Now the penalties look as far. The Ghost Dragon with 6 seconds now. So if any of his fellow drivers finish behind him within 6 seconds, he will lose that position. Or positions, should I say. Apiterebe, not far from Jonka. Still holding up the field. Still holding them up. Defense is quite good, yeah? But now it's not a wet tire. Now it's an inter tire. 11 laps for both of them on this tire. Gets a bit more better of an exit, yeah? But not enough battery in the tank for him. Will he go for the lunge into the final part of this track? No, he will not. Maybe turn 1 there will be a lunge. we'll have to wait and see. We had a bit of a moment there, not sure quite why. And fighting back into the mix for the race winner. 3, 4 tenths separating the two. And they're going at it, lap after lap. Turn 5, then turn 6. I thought that was a mistake at first when I saw him revving the car into the limit in gear 4, but I think that's a tactic not to spin out when getting gear 5. Sector 3. And it goes, no, it doesn't go for the lunge. Goes late on the brakes, but not for the lunge. Feather the throttle there, don't get too hasty with the throttle, you're gonna lose a lot of lap time. Deploys the battery, not a lot left, only 20% left. Sensor fault, 40, 50%. More than enough. Mauri ended up in hit with a 3-second time penalty. Nice exit for fighting into 10 out of 10, 14. Is he going to go for the lunge into the inside? No, he does not. Not this lap. Oh, I've been a bit of a moment for both of them. Both of them. I thought that Takma will go for the inside there, but they also had a moment there. That's when that's what happens when you get the invite for a position there. You get hasty, you get selfish, you get give a bit too much of throttle there, and you cause yourself to get a bit more oversteer. Almost spinning out there. Kilodon also hit with a 3-second penalty. We will Trompie in, the championship leader, still in P5, not making any works on the Williams driver ahead of him. Only 3 tenths separating them, but 3 tenths isn't a position, 3 tenths isn't an overtake, it's 3 tenths, you still have to get past. What will happen on lap 14 on the final straight? Sensor fault, deploying battery, 2.5 tenths, 3.8, 3 tenths, a bit later onto the brakes for fighting. No battery left as of yet. Depleted his battery on the previous laps and now has to suffer the consequences of only looking at the diffuser and looking at the gearbox. No dirty air for sensor fault, only for Trompie. Tak Moldy, 2.5 tenths behind his opponent Ragnarok in the RB. Ghost Dragon also hit with another 3-second penalty. It's gonna start accumulating a lot now. Tire deck is gonna go up, grip is gonna go down, and we have a retirement in the pits. We have a retirement in the pits. Kilodon opting to go into the pits and finish this evening off with runners. Happy Teddy Bear got overtaken by Jonko as we were heading down to Kilodon. So as it stands now, the Haas drivers securing the most points for the team in P2 and P3. What will it be? I think it will be a no overtake for turn 13. Bit more lower setup for Jonko, meaning a bit more straight line speed. Into turn 1 we go. What will it be? I haven't seen there's a driver alongside him. Oh, and they make contact. Trompie getting past him into turn 5. Turn 4 I mean. Turn 5 coming up, fast sweeping right-hander. Then turn 6. The first chicane of this track. Second one. Turn 7. Normally our first DRS zone. No DRS as of now because of the conditions that we're finding ourselves in. Trompy made the move stick and gets himself promoted to P4. On his way to Jonko, only 1 second separating the two. Then it's another 9 seconds between him and Tag Fighting. Sensible doesn't have to fight that hard anymore. Tag Fighting does have a 3-second penalty looming over his head. So if Tag Fighting manages to get past Sensible, he still has to build a lap of a gap of 3 seconds to keep the race win in his pocket. And Trompy, oh no, he's only went to the pits, that's why. 15 laps off 16 laps, yeah. No fighting on track except for our top 2 drivers. Maybe as Teddy Bear gets out of the pits, there will be some close calls there. There will be some close calls there. Getting behind the 2 McLaren drivers, 3 tenths, fresher tires, this is a no-brainer. Once Teddy Bear gets his tires up, the temperature is going to be a piece of cake, overtaking these 2 drivers. And he will be gaining some momentum, some delta, some race time to the guys in front, as he's got a much more fresher set of inters, a much more faster set of inters, and as time progresses he will gain a few tenths or seconds over his firing positions. That will be Trompy, Jonko. Let's see where he gets out. He needs to get past these 2 McLarens. Oh, and damage goes a bit wide. Side by side they go. He's gonna block off Teddy Bear. No, he will not. He will keep the inside, the better part of the track. He can go for the lunge now because he's got a bit better more. Oh, and they both go into the pits. It's gonna be a double stack. No communicating for the 2 drivers. 10-second penalty slapped onto Spurrekop, and this will cost him 10 seconds and a few extra added to because of the double stack. Teddy Bear. Ooh. Going straight into turn 1. Back where it started, behind Jonko. Sensible, that he must have had a spin. I'm lost. I didn't see that happen. He must have had a spin. He's currently sitting in P3. Trompy, P2. Tag Moldy, P1. I think he only has 3 seconds. And look at the time penalties we have. P3 for fighting. 3 seconds for fighting, 10 seconds for happy. A bit of battling going on here. Spurrekop with another 3-second penalties added to his race time. Firing with no one. Happy Teddy Bear wants to get past these drivers as quick as possible. He has a 10-second penalty leaning over his head. All the drivers that has a 10-second penalty will have the advantage or will have the luxury of serving the 10-second penalty inside the pits. No inroads being made by Happy as of now. Still behind Jonko, the Haas driver. Not doing as bad as I thought he will in the rain. He struggled quite a lot in Q3, not setting any times. So he started in P10. A bit of fighting going on there in the back of the field. Oh, and Paul Zeus going wide. One of our first throws to get himself a 3-second penalty. calmed down a bit, locked his eyes in, and started to focus. Spinnekop, 16 seconds. Ghost Dragon, 9 seconds. Spinnekop has the opportunity to bring down the time second penalties to 6 seconds if he goes into the pits and serves it in his grid box or pit box. What will Sensible do? Will he go into the pits, get an undercut on track fighting, or will he fight this out on track? Goes a bit wide into turn 3, 4. Then this false sweeping right hander of turn 5. Our second chicane coming up, turn 6. Eat the curb there, clubber the curb on turn 7. And further throttle, up the gears, deploys 1000 horsepower underneath him. Deploys the ERS, another about 50 horsepower. Sausage curb's not going to be your friend there. Don't want to put yourself onto the wet line there on the corners. You will spin out. You will lose time to everybody around you. Jonko 9/10 of a second, 1 second behind the championship leader Trompy, which is set up for a podium position. Let's see where the tire strides are. So Trompy with a brand new set of Intes already did his pit stop, setting himself up for a very good comeback. Only 9.9 seconds, 10 seconds between him and P2, between him and extending his championship lead. Jonko will want to get past Trompy for the sake of the team and for the sake of his own championship. Haas currently sitting in P3 in the Constructors' Championship. Damage 2.5 seconds behind. Oh, and he hits the wall, top of the wall. Some front wing carbon came off there. Yeah, there's a bit of front wing that came off the Aston of Henas. Goes a bit wide, a bit of oversteer there. Keep it calm and collected. Further the throttle, up the gears, deploy the ERS once you get into gear 5, and everything will be set and smooth for your straight coming up now. Turn 8, turn 9. Exit of turn 9, get into the curb there. Watch out for the lunge into the hairpin of turn 10. Henas made a mistake, hit the wall, lost some bodywork there, and he will have to go back in. Yellow flag, turn 3, turn 4, wide. That's right, that went a bit wide there and hit the wall. The front end plate on the right hand side of the front wing is lost. You will have to go in and fix that. Like I said, a bit more, a little front wing damage in rainy conditions and wet conditions will lead to more damage. Into the final part of sector 3, to the final part of this lap we go. They go side by side into turn 13. They do not. He backs out of it. Mauri backs out of it. On the outside he goes. He pushes him onto the grass. Wide does he go into turn 1. He will cut back, rejoins safely, but he was pushed wide. Bit of damage there from Uri. Left front end plate is gone, not with us anymore. Dragon goes a bit wide. There into the final part of sector 2 into turn 9. Turn 10 is next corner to go through. Then the left kinker of turn 11, Trompy. Setting himself up for a good race, good recovery, and another championship lead over his competitors. Reiger going for the wets now. Happy Teddy Bear. No inroads as of yet with the new slicks, the fresher slicks. While everything has dialed down, I think the drivers will be setting in now for the final stint. I don't think there will be any more pit stops except for damage to wings and replacement of them as of such. Don't think there will be more pit stops. Oh, and we have a big clutter for Ghost Dragon into the wall of the exit of turn 4. Turn 5 did good there. Turn 6, then turn 7. Pit my oversteer for him there. Wet conditions isn't a good place to start sliding around, as you will heat up your tires, you will burn them out, and your tire deck will go through the roof. Only a few guys that's in the mix for a fight. That's Mick 007 in the second Red Bull and Teddy Bear. Mick also going for the overtake there. No, he's not. But it's in the mix. Not at all. A lot of battery left for him. 20% against 40%. But a bit more overspeed for him. Later on the brakes, turn 13, then turn 14. Wall of Champions coming up onto the curve on the outside. Don't want to get onto the grass there. That will spin you out into the inside of turn 1. Bit my oversteer for Mauri there onto the entry of turn 1. Oversteer into the exit on turn 2. That car is very twitchy. 17 laps, that's what a 17 lap old tire will do. I wonder what his percentage is on, what his tire temps are on, and what his grips feeling like. Turn 5, the far sweeping right hander. Mauri, as you can see there, goes a bit wide into turn 5 and out of turn 5, turn 6, turn 7. He is not looking good. I think an overtake is coming up. Mick just has to save his battery, wait for the straight, and go for the lunge into turn 13. 6 laps old Inters and 17 laps old Inters is not gonna be your friend. It's not a hard mathematical equation. It's not a matter of when, it's a matter of if. Both end plates missing for Mauri there. Not one on the left, not one on the right, but the rear wing is set to a lower height than the Red Bull driver behind, because he's not getting any inroads, he's not getting any margin on the straights. He has to get him into one of the chicanes. That's where the front wing will come into play. Another 3 seconds for Raiger. Let's head down to Happy. That's on the gearbox of Jonko. What will it be? A lunge to the inside, or will it be a lunge on the outside? No defensive measures whatsoever for no defensive measures whatsoever for Jonko. Ragnarok, 2 tenths, gaining, not enough, turn 13, turn 14, kissing the back of the Aston, goes onto the grass, losing a bit of pace there, losing a bit of momentum there. Will he go for the lunge to the inside? Not, yes he will, side by side they go into turn 2. Oh, and Hennas lets him through. Hennas lets him through. Does he have damage? Yes, he does. Right side end plate of the front wing. Not with us anymore. Rest in peace, Carbon. Rest in peace. Overtake. Do we get it? Yes, we do. A lunge from Happy. Side by side they go into sector 3. Finishing off sector 2. What will happen into turn 10? The hairpin. Nothing. Nothing will happen. No lunges. No chance for an overtake. I think Jonker will go for the overtake. Will go for the battery burn on the back straight of the Canadian Grand Prix. Point de la Concorde. Nothing gaining. No, he's not getting enough. It's not going to be enough. Maybe he'll go for the overtake into turn 1. Losing quite a lot of lap time there. Maybe he has some damage to the floor. Maybe the diffuser or rear wing. He was a bit quicker than Happy Bear. Mauri with another 3 seconds. Jonker was a bit faster than Happy Bear the past few laps. We have a yellow flag for Mauri. Spun around, looking the wrong way. Oh, that's not good. That's not good. Mauri retired from the session on track. Spun around, hit the wall, front wing gone. Only a double waved yellow, no overtaking in sector 2. No safety cars as of yet. Remember, we had an 83% chance of safety cars. If the drivers manage to keep this clean, keep this as it's now, they will define the odds and keep the race sailing smooth. No late race, decisive, strategic call that's going to be made without a safety car. Five tenths between Jonker and Teddy Bear. Jonker fighting his way back, clawing his way up again, wanting that podium position for his team. Tak Trompie gaining quite a lot on Senserfold now. Only 4 seconds, 3.5, 3.8 seconds separating the two. Two fast drivers, 3.5, 3.4. There's something wrong with Senserfold's car, maybe. Some front wing damage. No, there's not. 3 seconds, 2.9, 2.8. Trompie's clawing his way back. Trompie's getting quite a lot in the final part of this Grand Prix. Spinnekop, 8 tenths of a second behind Hennas. Will Hennas also let him through, or will there be a fight that's about to happen? Let's head down there and look. 4.5 tenths. Fakes to the inside, goes back onto the racing line, and waits for a lunge. 5.5 tenths, 5 tenths, 4.5 tenths, 3% battery left for Spinnekop, 54 Hennas. But remember, Hennas still has that front wing damage. Will that determine his final positions in this race? Will he get 1 point, or will he get 2 points? P9 or P10? That's your options. 19 lap old Inters versus 10 lap old Inters. Front wing damage versus without front wing damage. What do you think? No, Hennas doesn't have one. Oh, he fixed his front wing. Or was it the other Aston that hit the wall? One of the Astons has damage. I think it's maybe moldy. None of them. Okay, someone fixed the front wing. Didn't see that. Ragnar gets the overtake done on damaged. Sector 1. 10, 3, 4. Then 10, 5. Still not a lot separating these two. 3.5 tenths. Fakes it to the inside of 10, 6. Then 10, 7. Reiger slapped with another 3 second penalty. Let's go down and have a look at the penalties that... Holy macaroni. Tak Mulder, 6 seconds penalty. He needs to keep Senserfold out of his 6 window gap behind him to take the win for the Canadian Grand Prix. Tak Trompie gaining quite a lot, 2.4 seconds as it stands now. But if he overtakes Senserfold, he has to claw his way up and steer clear of 3 seconds to get a P2. You will still have a P3, a podium position, just because Happy Bear does have a 10-second penalty. Hinas, 1/10 of a second into turn one we go. Is he gonna go for a late move lunge? No, he doesn't. Gets onto the grass. Doesn't go wide. Nice recovery there for Hinas. In the Aston. 5/10. Foot to the floor. Harvesting some energy there. Getting himself ready for the first DRS zone. No DRS for the drivers as of yet because it's still raining. But the first DRS zone is in Sector 2. 100% battery for him. Redeployed now, redeployed later on. And there we go. Gear 5. Finger on the battery. 1/10. 1 second. 1.2. 1.1 seconds. Separating the last point scorers of this Grand Prix. 1.7 seconds between P2 and P3. A big battle, big championship decider coming up in the final parts of this race. Let's head down to the top 3 and see what Trompie can manage. Within the 1 second window of Sensafault. Remember, no DRS, only pure raw pace. 1,000 horsepower at the disposal of each driver. Seven tenths. Lap 29, we were 2.5 seconds between these drivers. Lap 31, it's less than a second. 8 tenths, 8.5 tenths. Clawing his way closer and closer to P2. And looks like Sensafault has picked up the pace a bit, with only 7 seconds behind him and the Haas driver of fighting. Only 9 seconds for Sensafault to get the race win. Yeah, 3 laps remaining. What will it be? Will it be P1 for Sensafault, or will it be a heartbreaking P2 for TAC fighting? Three tenths of a second. Will he go for the late lunge into turn 8? No, he will not. Maybe the hairpin. 3 tenths between the two drivers. But you will make the apex a bit later. Runs into the back of Sensafault. And he's gaining. He's gaining 4 tenths. But he's not gaining enough. We have not had any casualties for the Wall of Champions as of yet. Let's hope that's not the commentator's curse. Drivers are settled down into the slots, and we have a yellow flag into the final sector. Someone spun, and I think it's one of them. It's Spinnekop maybe. No, it's not Spinnekop. I think it's damaged spin. Oh, and a big snap for Trompie into the first part of this track. The second part coming up for him now into turn 6, 7, and then turn 8. If he wants P2, he needs to get the overtake done as quickly as possible and get that 3-second gap on Sensafault. Sensafault, as it stands now, will win the race just because of the fact that TAC fighting has went over the white line a few times too much. 9 tenths, 1 second separating the P2 and P3 If he wants the P2, he needs to get the overtake done as quickly as possible, or just settle for the fact we'll finish off the podium positions. Two and a half seconds slower than his fastest lap on lap 34. So penultimate lap going now, and he goes side by side with them. They make contact into the inside. They go. He gets past him. A blue flag will be waved for the Mercedes driver of Polzes. Did they make contact? I think the two drivers made contact there behind. Now it's Trompie's turn. Flat out. No margin for error. No mercy left. Will Trompie take the win? If he can get within 3 seconds of tag fighting, he will take the race win, extending his championship lead and extending the dream of becoming a Formula 8 world champion. 4.5 seconds, 4.5, gaining bit by bit. 1 lap remaining, 1.5 seconds to make up. What will it be? P1 or P2? No battles going on at the moment. A few drivers that's going to lose a bunch of positions just because of time penalties. 4.2 seconds for Trompie. 4.1 as we go on to the last lap of this Grand Prix. Turn 1, then turn 2. On his way to turn 2, hooks up the apex quite nicely, goes a bit wide onto the exit, onto the entry, and it goes into the dip of turn 3, turn 4, the fast sweeping right hander off turn 5, the second chicane of this Grand Prix, turn 6, then turn 7, 3.5 seconds. 5 tenths, 2 sectors. What will it be? 7 corners left, 7 tenths. And he's got it. He's got it. If Trompie manages to keep it within 3 seconds of fighting, he will snatch the race win from fighting. And the Haas drivers will be distraught. At the moment they had 2 podium positions in their grasp and only have 1 podium position, not a race win, only a P2 and a P5. Into the last corner we go, the final lap, turn 13, turn 14. And Trompie wins the Formula 8 Canadian Grand Prix, extending his race or his championship lead by 25 points, followed by tag fighting, then Sensifield. That's your podium positions. We'll have to see where Happy Bear finished up. He still has 13 or 16 second penalties. So John Coe gets promoted to P4, followed by Tag Moldy, then Happy Teddy Bear. The RB driver of Ragnarok will finish P7. Then the McLaren driver of Damaged will be P8, followed by, I think it will be Enas. Let's see if Enas crosses the line where he finishes. He will finish off the top 10. Yeah, Spinnekop gets demoted to P10. Enas takes P9, and Spinnekop finishes off our top 10 points scorers. That's it, guys. Our Formula 8 Grand Prix, round 13 finished off. Montreal just chewed up the best drivers in the world and spat them out. If you didn't have your heart in your throat for those last few laps, you weren't watching the same race I was. This track is a graveyard for egos and a temple of the insane. This is why we love the sport. No scripts, no safety nets, just pure unadulterated speed and the constant threat of concrete walls. I'm out. My voice is gone. The track is smoking, or should I say not smoking. And we are getting started for this season. If you're not subscribed, you're missing the fight of the century. Get out of the chat, get some sleep, get ready for the next race. Ciao.